Hey, guys. Welcome to the Weapon Works podcast. I'm Zach. I'm your host, and I appreciate you guys coming in here with us. Tonight, we have on, or today, this will drop on Thursday. So we have Mr. Kurt Sills from Blue Alpha Gear. How are you, brother? How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate you coming on here. You, like I just told you right before, you are the first guy this is my first introduction with you.
Right.
And I like this shit. That was kind of the point of this whole podcast, was to get out and meet some more people. And
Yeah.
I do appreciate you coming in, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And we work in the same industry, so we may not have met face to face, but I know we have a lot in common. I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about.
Oh yeah, man. Now you'll probably get tired of hearing from me now that I have all your contact info. Just forewarning.
Okay.
So Blue Alpha Gear, man. What is Blue Alpha Gear? What do you guys do, man?
So Blue Alpha Gear's main business is we make belts. We started back in spring of 2016 as kind of like on a whim, a little side project. We started, me and my business partner Jesse started making belts, and it kind of went crazy. We managed to so far not screw it all up.
That's always a good thing, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
always a good thing.
Yeah.
This is actually my third business. I screwed two of them up before I found something that actually worked. So,
well, you're experienced. So, well, I will say, I mean, we made a couple of changes where we made a couple of left turns and a right turn, and we ended up with belts. But it was about a year of us kind of feeling out what we wanted to do as a business.
mm-hmm.
Once we hit it on belts, it clicked with us. It made sense to us. We liked doing it.
Now, a lot of guys that are making gear like that, a lot of these guys are having other folks make their gear. But I was looking through your stuff. You
Mm-hmm.
guys have actual sewing machines.
Yeah,
you guys are actually making the shit yourself, huh?
Yeah, and I'll be honest, we didn't know how to sew when we started, so we actually went and tried to find someone to sew belts for us, but we went to one place and he's just like, I'm too busy. And he's like, honestly, you guys should just do it yourselves. And so we bought a sewing machine it was an industrial sewing machine. I think we paid $1,200 for it. And, we were like, do we have to take out a loan for this? How do we even pay for this thing? It's really, really small business problems. And we put that one sewing machine in Jesse's garage. And by garage, I mean 1/3 of a garage is the space that it was like his little shop in his garage.
Mm-hmm.
And we started making belts in there kind of like caveman, doing it the slow, old-fashioned way without the right equipment. And we just slowly tested everything and learned ways to make it more efficient, and slowly improved the processes and improved the final product and got better and better. And eventually, it didn't take us too long where we were actually starting to make some really good stuff. And, we've kind of just been growing ever since. But yeah, it's been a wild ride, and it is definitely weird to just be a couple of guys who are just like, all right, let's buy a sewing machine and learn how to sew. And we watched, so I'm still not a sewing expert. Jesse's the sewing expert, but Jesse just watched a bunch of YouTube videos. It's amazing what you can learn on YouTube nowadays.
It's the damn truth, man.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many gunsmith courses I've taken on YouTube.
Right.
Guns
Exactly.
that come in here, and I have no clue how to take them apart. YouTube will tell you, man.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
Will. But just a disclaimer, I actually went to gunsmithing school. They don't teach you how to take every single little gun apart. So,
right. There is no sewing school, so we did not go to that. It's the school of learn it the hard way.
Yeah. Probably spend a lot of money in needles and thread and material learning in the hard way.
I remember a lot of broken needles, a lot of not knowing which size thread to use, a lot of, we still have the first belt that Jesse ever made. We still have it, and we show it to new employees and stuff, and it helps them not feel so bad about some of their first belts they make.
Oh man, you'll have that thing in a frame one of these days.
That's why I said someday it'll be in the museum for that no one will care
about. The museum of weird shit that no one cares.
Exactly.
Hey man, no, that's pretty cool. Actually, this little blue Ruger right here, piece of shit gun, SR22. It's a garbage gun. Yeah. That is the very, very first gun I ever put a pattern on. That's cool. Why I keep it around. It's not because I like it.
Yeah.
That'll also go in the
Yeah,
museum. Shit that
yeah,
no one cares about.
exactly. But it'll matter to us, and that's all that counts.
That's right, man. That's right. So I was seeing that you guys are moving into a new facility. I mean, you went
Right.
from a garage to
Yeah. So since a lot's changed in the past couple of years, I'll give you the quick rundown of what's happened as far as us moving. Like I said, we started in Jesse's garage in spring of 2016, and in fall of 2016, we did a Kickstarter for our hybrid EDC belt,
Mhm.
and it ended up being like a really successful Kickstarter. We needed to order these special Cobra Buckles, and Osteralpen, who makes Cobra Buckles, was like, "Yeah, we can sell you these, but like you got to order a lot of them in order for us to make these special versions for you." And we were still like, at that point we were a 2 sewing machine operation,
Mhm.
and we'd only been around for 8 or 9 months. So we did a Kickstarter to try and raise the money to order that first batch, and also test the waters, make sure people actually wanted this thing. We had a goal of $10,000 for the Kickstarter, and we actually raised that in the first 24 hours. And then we went on to raise like $52,000 over the whole Kickstarter.
Oh
So
wow, that's
yeah,
that, that's a really successful Kickstarter. That's
yeah,
awesome.
it was wild, and the most important part of a Kickstarter that a lot of people doing Kickstarters neglect, which is actually fulfilling the orders on time.
Yeah, yeah.
So apparently that's pretty rare, but we did that. We fulfilled every order from all that $52,000 worth of orders. We filled them all on time.
That's awesome, man. I
Yeah,
know I've paid a few bucks to Kickstarter over the years and never received
yeah,
anything. So
yeah. It's unfortunate when that happens, but we tried to not do that. So, but yeah, we used that money to move into our the big shop that we moved in out of Jesse's garage. It was like we moved into a 850 square foot shop. It had like
mhm.
2 separate rooms, and we were all excited that like, oh, there's doors, like we can put stuff over here, and then there's like a door separating things. Like
Felt
that was,
like a mansion at the time,
yeah,
right?
it did. And we moved into that place in January of 2017, and then we grew out of it, and and then we were in the new place that we're in now in January of 2018, and so we moved from 800 square feet to 2,000 square feet. So right now we're currently in 2,000 square feet, but we just expanded. In fact, are expanding this week into the unit next door, which will put us at a total of 3,500 square feet. So it's been quite a lot of moving.
Hmm.
We haven't really made it the full lease period anywhere yet. Uh, but we're really excited that we're gonna. This one's kind of nice because we're just moving. We're expanding next door, so it's
Okay,
not so bad. We don't have to load up trucks, but we do have to do a lot of sewing machines up and down stairs. So
but
um,
man, those are all good problems to have, man.
yeah, they are. But for some perspective, like I said, we went from 1 sewing machine to like 2 sewing machines by the end of 2016. Well, right now we have like 15 sewing machines, and I think we're at just over 20 employees total.
Wow, man,
Yeah,
that's a lot of growth in 2 years, man.
it is. It's been a crazy ride.
How many belts are you guys making every day?
Um, so I mean, we're open 5 days a week, so we have to make 7 days worth of belts in 5 days, and I think we probably make between 75 and 100 belts per day.
Wow,
Yeah,
dude, that's so cool. I
yeah,
love I love hearing stories about how guys just take it from absolutely nothing and just blow it up. That's so
yeah.
cool to me.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Jesse and I still like late at night we'll sit in our shop and look around at all of it and just be like, what happened? But we're be really excited about it. Like we're like, this is
Mhm.
awesome. But like, whoa, where did all this come from?
So where did the idea come from? I know you
Okay.
said you guys were just bored.
Yeah, so actually it's funny. Jesse was my boss when we started Blue Alpha Gear, and we were bored at work. Um, and he's got like a super strong entrepreneur spirit. I
Mhm.
apparently have one. It was hidden inside of me. I didn't know much about it. I just assumed that you have to be special to run a business. Turns out
Mhm.
you don't. um, but I'm a gun guy, and I had bought a EDC belt from a big company, and I was just kind of like, oh, this thing, I was like, this costs a lot, but that's all right. It's a good brand. And then it was kind of expensive, and then on top of that, they charged $13 to ship it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got it, it was this big empty box with just like a loose belt flopping around in it. I was just like, man, they didn't even give me like a shipping option. Like I was forced to pay $13 extra to ship me this belt. And I was complaining to Jesse about it. And we were both just like, yeah, I bet there's room to compete on belts. Cause I had done a lot of shopping. I was like, yeah, I think there is. So that's what we just decided, like, all right, let's see if we can start making belts and see what happens. Cause we saw a lot of complaints about customer service, a lack of customer service, which is really common in the firearms industry, bad customer service.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people who they may be good at what they make or good at what they do, but they're not really very good at dealing with people or understanding how to deal with people or what the customer wants, like the whole total package of the customer experience. And we saw a lot of opening there for that to be improved. And so that was our goal from the beginning, which is like provide, we actually looked through and found like all the common complaints, and we said, all right, there's solutions to all of these. So let's try to solve them all. One of the major complaints with belts is sizing problems. So this is still common where if you buy a belt from a company and it doesn't fit you, you have to just buy another belt and then try to sell the belt that you bought for, some of what you paid for it. You end up being out money. And I would be kind of upset if that happened to me.
Yeah, it wouldn't sit well with me either.
Yeah. Well, I still see stuff like this happening. In fact, I saw somebody complaining about it today online for another brand. So from the beginning, we've always had a policy of free sizing exchanges. So if you buy a belt from us, once you get it, you try it on and it doesn't fit, you just fill out a quick form on our website, and then we will expedite a replacement belt to you. And when you get your replacement belt, it'll actually have a pre-labeled mailer inside of it so that you can actually do the whole exchange at the mailbox and put your first belt right in the mailbox and send it back to us. We cover all the shipping costs, and it happens really quickly too, because we expedite that order, and it's been like a huge success for us.
That's an easy solution to a problem that ain't really that big a deal.
Yeah. And now, people are more comfortable buying a belt from us because they know that, they're not going to get screwed on it. Yeah. So we'll make sure that even we've done it where we've done like 2 or 3 sizing exchanges for one customer to make sure we get it right. Because they either were doing, they got some of their math wrong, or they didn't really understand their size very well. But either way, like all the way through to the end, we covered everything. And that's our goal, is to make sure that they get what they need and it fits perfectly so they can just be happy with it and go about their lives.
You do 3 exchanges for one customer, you probably don't make a whole lot of money off of that.
No, you're actually losing money at that point.
You got a customer for life, and that dude is going to tell somebody else about that. That's what and you were right. It is kind of rampant in the firearm. You can set yourself apart really easily by just treating people decent. It's pretty cool.
So I mean, we were shocked pretty much in the beginning when people would when you'd respond to their email, and like they'd be shocked that you responded. And it's just like the bar is so low for people dealing with customer service in the firearms industry. The bar is so low that it's not even hard to exceed it. Yeah. And so we're always trying to raise the bar and provide the best total package customer experience we can, because I mean, it is, it's a belt. It's not the world's most exciting product. We have a lot of very passionate customers, surprisingly passionate customers, which is awesome. But I think that's because we try to provide like a total package experience where from beginning to end, they're happy with everything that happened.
Yeah. I mean, that counts for a lot in people's eyes, man. It really does. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Huh? I need to help. So, your kind of y'all's trajectory is kind of straight up, man. I mean, you went from 2 years from, almost quadrupling the size of your shop coming
Right.
up. Like what kind of growing pains did you experience between that time?
So, I mean, the actual, like the business growing pains, like the actual behind the scenes business stuff is the main thing is it's really expensive to grow fast.
Mhm.
Like, like all of your money that you would theoretically have left over as profit has to go right back into increasing the amount of inventory that you can have and make. And
Mhm.
so, we went from buying, rolls of webbing to boxes of rolls of webbing to an entire skid full of boxes full of rolls of webbing
Mhm.
to like just these crazy large numbers. And in order to scale like that, all of your money has to go back into inventory. And you end up like you're doing so much is happening, but there's all the money's gone. And it's really
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
We know that everything that's happening is good, but it's tough. You're not like I don't know. It makes it really tough for us.
Those sales numbers and the bank account numbers don't exactly jive all the time, right?
Right, yeah, because you just the bills you have to pay to buy
Mhm.
materials is a lot. And if anyone knows anything about Cobra Buckles, so we deal with a lot of belts that have Cobra Buckles. They are not cheap.
Yeah.
Um, they're made in Austria. They're very, very, very nice buckles. They're very compliant. They're used by the U.S. military. They're all around very, very good buckles, and people love them.
Mhm.
But they are not cheap. And no matter how many you order, there is not much of a price break on those things. It's,
Yeah.
it is. I mean, tens and tens of thousands of dollars we spend on those things frequently, and then have to wait, long periods of time. So once you have to order a lot of something and then you have to deal with a long wait period, you have
Mhm.
to you know, basically triple the amount that you need to order because you need to order so far ahead. So that's materials. Materials has like been one of the hardest parts about growing, and then obviously space, which we've been able
Mhm.
to slowly solve. And then the one thing that is will always be tough for us growing, but we've succeeded at it really, really well, is employees.
Mhm.
Finding good employees is not easy. Um,
Oh, believe me, I know.
all right, we have been like I know of like some of our business friends are super jealous of us once they come and visit the shop and they see the employees that we have. They're like
Mhm.
jealous right away because they know that we've got like an amazing group of employees. They're so awesome. They just, I don't know, I can't gush about them enough because um, they do a great job. They make our lives easy. They basically manage themselves. It's just a low drama, good place to work. Very nice people there. They work hard. Um, Jesse and I could basically not go to the shop for a few days and everything would get done. It's crazy. It's amazing how lucky we are. It's the
Yeah.
reason that we've been able to grow the way we have is because we've been able to find like a really good pool of employees and they're all really happy. We try our best to take as good a care of them as we can. So we
Mhm.
give them a lot of flexibility and they love their jobs. At least that's what they tell us. I'll have to believe them.
Well, I mean, they're still there, so they're sticking
Yeah.
around. So you're doing
Well,
something right, right?
it's a good sign when they tell their friends and then their friends want to come work for us. That
Yeah.
usually means that they are legitimately happy there.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
Man, 2,000 square foot, 20 employees. That place is crowded, isn't it?
It's yeah, and so a lot of them are part-time, but there's definitely some hours where it's pretty crowded in there. So, yeah, it's going to be good to be able to expand.
Yeah.
So, hopefully by this time next month, we'll be settled into our new layout and we're gonna be super efficient, which is our goal.
Now, was that this coming weekend that you guys are moving?
Thursday, the day after tomorrow, we start moving.
Okay, so this will actually drop on
Yeah,
Thursday, so
exactly.
you'll be
So,
moving.
yeah,
So
as of the people, yeah, when people are listening to this, yeah, check our Instagram and you'll probably see me posting lots of stuff about us moving.
so you need some help if you're in Georgia, right? So
You know what? I actually did just request some help from some friends of mine who are some of our fans and local people. I've on some of the groups I'm in on Facebook. So we're actually going to make kind of a pizza party out of it. Uh, have some fun and if anyone comes and helps us, we're going to send them home with a belt. So
Nice.
a lot of free pizza and soda, and just make a good time out of it. But yeah, it's a pretty cool place. So our shop is actually a 1800s cotton mill that has been rebuilt. So we have really
exposed brick walls and stuff.
Old red brick of like every different color, like different generations of changes. You can see all that, and then really cool old wood floors that are like 6 inches thick. It's a really interesting place. We want to stay for a while because our employees really like working there, because it's not just like a sanitary warehouse.
I got you.
It's kind of boring. The floor is uneven and you can trip once in a while, and it's not so fun in an office chair, but it's got character.
Character, man.
Yeah.
Lots of character.
That's right.
All right, so you're growing this much in 2 years. I mean, someone figured something out as far as the marketing side. Who does the marketing stuff?
That is me. I do the marketing, the customer service, social media, stuff like that. So the credit I'll give myself is that I'm pretty good at networking, and but beyond that, the vast majority of our growth, I think, has been happy customers and word of mouth. So
that's awesome.
We don't really spend any money on ads, really at all.
Nice.
Yeah. So we try to make sure we have an army of happy customers who are telling their friends. And that is basically where most of our growth comes from.
So where do you attribute most of that from? Is it like a social media based thing that you first got all the info out, or? Yeah,
so social media is definitely, I would say, the heart of our growth. We started on Amazon too, which is, Jesse's really good at Amazon. That helped us when we were really small a lot, because it was a chance for us to reach out to people who had never heard of us. The small company that basically didn't exist and suddenly starts to exist, and it puts our products in the biggest store in the world, which is Amazon. There's a big advantage to doing that, and that really helped us gain momentum. But within the past year, our website has surpassed Amazon sales by quite a bit now. So yeah, we like having our stuff on Amazon, and we will probably always have our stuff on Amazon. But selling on our website is always going to be preferred, because we have more control over that. And with the politics of the gun industry, even though we're just kind of like adjacent to the gun industry, we're kind of a gun accessory. With the whole politics of it all, it would make me nervous to have someone else have control over our sales like that.
See, I sell Cerakote stencils on Amazon, and sales are great. It's fantastic, but the one thing I don't like, well, of course, they take huge fees,
right?
And then you don't have control of your customer list.
Yeah,
none of that info. So the website's definitely the way to go.
It is, it is. But Amazon is very. It's a very good place to reach people. I like to think that there's a lot of people that buy from us on Amazon and then come back for more, and they'll come to our website for it.
Yeah, so. Definitely. So, where do you see yourself, man? Where do you guys see yourself in 5-10 years?
It seems at this point impossible to predict, because we can barely picture what's going to happen 6 months from now. I think it's starting to we're starting to actually be able to see out a little further now. I think 2019 is definitely going to be a big year for us. We've got a lot of stuff planned, and typically we weren't able to plan much stuff before, but now we're actually getting to the point where we're starting to be able to plan, have it and organize, and have a bit of a strategy. And I think, I don't know. I think we're going to probably just keep growing. I don't know what the rate that we'll be growing will be, but I'm excited for it. It's hard to say what we're going to do. I think so we're about to launch a law enforcement belt, and we're going to try to get more involved with law enforcement altogether. And I think that'll probably do pretty well. and it'll kind of adds an interesting twist to get more involved in law enforcement. And I'm really excited for that. So
cool. Now, is it just belts right now, or do y'all have
great? That's a great question. Yeah, we're always thinking about like how are we going to expand outside of belts, and we have done that a little bit, but the problem is that there's just so many belts yet to make.
Everybody needs a belt, man.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of our growth has been through just through volume, not through like product diversity. We haven't really been able to add much diversity because the volume just keeps going up. So that's how our growth has happened. Next year we're going to try to add some more diversity, but there probably will be some stuff that is outside of belts happening. But belts will be our bread and butter for quite a while, I think.
Yeah. That's now, did you ever think when you were a kid that you were going to end up sewing belts?
Yeah.
It's crazy to see your life turns out, dude.
4 years ago, I would have had no idea. If you could have told me I would have a business, I'd have been like, doing what? Like really? Because it was just, I had a really, really good job that is not the type of job that that's the type of job where it's like, all right, I'm doing this now. I never have to worry about what else my other jobs are going to be for the rest of my life. So yeah, it's been an interesting turn of events to start a business and then have it do well. I mean, I'm as shocked as everyone else is.
Now this is your first business?
This is my first business. Yeah.
Yeah. That blows my mind that your first one, you hit it on the first one. That's pretty awesome.
I mean, so Blue Alpha Gear itself, I mean, we started off with some holsters. We weren't sure whether we were going to be a website that sold a bunch of stuff, or whether we were going to be like a manufacturer. There was about a year where we were just kind of like wandering around going like, what are we going to do? And then once we started selling belts, it clicked and we were like, oh, this is it. We want to actually be a manufacturer. So that's where we've actually, like, we get a lot of enjoyment from like owning the whole process from manufacturing all the way to customer service and beyond. We really like having control over that. It helps us, have a better experience for our customers, and it gives us control. It's frustrating when you don't have control over stuff in your own business, when other people get to decide certain things. So that's why we always wanted to be the manufacturer. Once we got a taste of that, we were like, yeah, we need to keep doing this. It's huge headaches. I mean,
I can imagine.
Yeah, dealing with supplies, and I mean, just to make belts, there's so many things that are involved in making belts that it's really tough just to keep all the inventory of, from the different colors, because you need the webbing itself, you need to have color matching Velcro, color matching thread, you need to have all the buckles. There's all kinds of, and then you need that for every color. And then because of the way our sizing is, adds a lot of complexity too, because our sizing is based on your pant size. But so instead of there being like a range, like small, medium, large is, a large is this size to this size. That's the easy way to do it, but we didn't want to do it that way because it meant that customers it'd be more likely for them to be in between sizes, and we didn't want people to be in between sizes. We wanted them to get like their exact size. So we sell from size 28 to 48. So it's like 10 or 11 different sizes. So for every belt we have, and for every color, multiply that times 11.
A lot of
it gets into the hundreds really, really quick.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool that it's just belts, though. It still blows my mind.
Excuse me.
Well, no, you're good. The quantity of people and opportunity that there is in the United States, man.
Yep.
And, I never really realized the scale of what is actually out there until I got on Amazon, like you were talking about. There's so many people in this world. It's crazy, man. It really is.
Yeah. And you have moments where you're like, have we sold a belt to, are we done now? We've sold a belt to a bunch of people. When are they going to just be like, we're good now. We don't need any more belts. Or then there's other moments where you're just like, your mind is blown by how many people are out there.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's three
Yeah,
hundred million asses
right.
that need to be covered by pants
I
and a
know.
belt, man.
Yeah, and we get messages and orders from Sweden and Germany and Indonesia and like, every country you can think of, people wanting belts from those countries too. And then you start thinking about that and you're like, whoa, this could actually get kind of crazy, because what's interesting is that uh, while the firearms and tactical communities outside of the US may be smaller, a lot
Mm,
smaller in each individual country, the people in those countries look to the US for, I mean, we are the major players. They look to us to see like what's the best stuff. The best stuff
mhm.
comes from the US. So it's interesting to see them look at Blue Alpha Gear and say like, okay, everyone in the US on Instagram is talking about this brand and this belt, and it's made in the USA. So to them, I mean, that's like, it's cool that that's something that they want. That's
Mhm.
And so they contact us and they're like, hey, you know, I want one of these, and then like their buddies come back later and they want them too, and it's a lot of overseas law enforcement and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's just kind of fascinating.
Now, it's kind of counterintuitive if you think about it. Like, has anybody told you you're crazy? You can't make money manufacturing in the United States anymore? Have you heard that?
Uh, no, and you know what? I think it's getting. I'd say that that's not true, and it's getting further and further from being true.
Mhm.
Especially because I think a lot of the stuff being made overseas is starting to go up in price. The
Yep.
manufacturing costs are going up, and there's enough stuff that needs to be made in the U.S. just with like stuff that's made for the military that's very compliant that has to be made in the U.S. And then the demand inside this industry for stuff that's made here is I mean, most people like to buy stuff that's made in the U.S., but
Hmm.
in the gun industry, like they really like to buy stuff that's made in the U.S. That's
Yes.
awesome
Yes.
for us. I mean, so we're able to take advantage of the fact that there's a high demand for it. Also, sewing operations in the U.S. are rare. They're just really, really rare
Mhm.
now. Uh, we talk to a lot of the old timers who've been around for years and years and years, and they're just like, yeah, in the 80s and 90s, sewing machines, all the sewing machines they're using overseas were made here in the U.S., and they just shipped them all over in the 90s,
Hmm.
and now they're all over there, and there's just not many left here in the U.S. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. So that gives us an advantage because we're here and we're making it. And
Yeah.
we get all kinds of weird phone calls from people saying like, "Hey, I need this made."
Yeah.
And sometimes we're like, "Yeah, we can do that." And sometimes it's like that's not, we just can't. But
That kind of that kind of leads me into do you guys do like bulk orders and OEM orders for people?
on a case by case basis, yes. So
Okay.
uh, yes, we can, and we have done stuff like that. In fact, we're making a special project for Navy shipyards right now.
Okay.
It's actually leather welding hoods, which is something that nobody knows about. But
Oh,
we've been making
really?
leather welding hoods for Navy shipyards for all of this year.
Oh man, I
So
would love to. I'd love to see one of those.
yeah, I'll have to send you a picture, because there
Please.
are you can't find a picture of them on purpose, because
I don't. I
the
don't think
Navy
I've ever
wants
seen.
these. Yeah, the Navy wants these specific welding hoods, and we're the only people that make them. So there aren't any pictures anywhere.
That's pretty badass, man. I've never
Yeah,
heard of a leather welding hood.
yeah. So the idea is, in the shipyards, these guys that are welding inside tight confined spaces in and around bulkheads. I mean, these guys are welding with like mirrors. That's how tight of a
Mhm.
space they're welding in. So these leather hoods, they conform to their head so they can get their head into tighter spaces, and it has like an air inlet that blows fresh air down on them. So
That's really cool.
yeah,
Back a while back in an older life, man, I used to install elevators. I used to do a lot of welding.
yeah,
That's very interesting, dude.
yeah,
I would love to see a picture. No
yeah.
bullshit.
I'll send you one.
Please do. Please do.
But yeah,
Oh,
we're always. I mean, you know, it's business. We're always open to opportunities and ideas, and people come to us quite frequently. And there's some stuff we do, and some stuff that just doesn't make business sense for us.
mhm.
But yeah, we a lot of it's belts too. Like uh, sometimes people just they want like a co-branded belt. We do that a little bit. we haven't done any like private labeling of our belts. We've only done stuff where if it's going to go out our door and it's a belt, it's got our logo on it somewhere.
Okay, cool. There's two different schools, two different ways to look at that, but if you want to keep your own stuff, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
we want to take ownership of it. It's ours,
Yeah.
and we're proud of it, and we're willing to take ownership. We're willing to do the customer service. We're willing to do the warranty, because it's ours and it's good. And we want to take ownership of it.
That's awesome. I like hearing that. We want to take ownership. That's one of my big things, taking ownership of your shit,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
So before we started recording, you said you were from Michigan.
Yeah.
So how did you end up in Georgia, man?
So I grew up in Michigan. I grew up in West Michigan, in a small town outside of Grand Rapids. I love it there. All of my family is still there. All of my wife's family is still there. We are the weird kids that ran off to Atlanta. But in the late 2000s, Michigan wasn't exactly that hot of a job market. So
yeah.
I'd actually, I was in my early to mid 20s, and I'd actually been laid off twice from various not great jobs. I mean, these are not the jobs you'd want, and I was still getting laid off from them because a lot of Grand Rapids work is supporting the auto industry, and 2008 was not a great year for the auto industry in Michigan. So I actually have an aircraft mechanics license, so I'm certified to work on aircraft, and I just decided to move to Atlanta and try to get a job at Delta Airlines. And I was lucky enough to actually succeed in doing that. So nice. That's what drove me down to Atlanta.
That's aircraft mechanics, pretty good job, right?
It's a great job. Oh, well, I mean, for working for Delta is a great job. It's a great job. It's a hard job to leave.
Yeah.
There are, small airports, being a mechanic at some of those may or may not be a great job because the pay is pretty low and the liability is pretty high. But Delta Airlines is kind of the opposite. The pay is good, and where I worked, I wasn't having to, worry about the plane I was working on, being the only guy who worked on it and hoping I didn't forget something.
Yeah. I would imagine there's a whole lot of checks and balances.
It's pretty crazy the amount that it's having worked there for a long time. I'm comfortable flying. You see stuff and every once in a while we're like, that's kind of dumb, but for the most part, and the safety records of US based commercial aviation, speak for themselves.
Yeah.
It's wildly safe to fly. So it's an interesting place to work for sure.
It's crazy, man. Turning wrenches to running sewing machines. That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
So cool. Bro, how old are you, man? If you don't
I know you have to give me a second to remember. I'm about to turn 35.
About to turn 35.
Yeah. So my birthday is next month.
Nice. Well, happy early birthday. But if you could go back and talk to 20-year-old Kurt and tell him something, what would you tell this dude?
Yeah, so I think about this once in a while, and like part of me wishes I had been able to like start, because I'm obviously business is like running this business makes me really happy. Like I get a ton of job satisfaction out of it. Something that like I didn't know I was missing until I had it. Right.
Yeah.
So I had a really good job, but at the end of the day, there wasn't a lot of like, oh man, what a great day. Look at all that we got accomplished. But that being said, it's hard for me to say like, that I would tell myself a long time ago to like change the direction I was on, because I know it's cheesy, but like I really am happy now and I wouldn't want to do anything to mess up what I have now.
I got you.
I really wouldn't. If I was able to go back in time and talk to myself, I'd probably just hide from myself and not try to mess it up.
No butterfly effect, right?
Exactly. Like
take its course.
Yeah, I'm really happy right now, and I don't want anything to change. So,
well, I mean, there's a lot of satisfaction in working for yourself. Really, being in control of your own destiny, being able to make the money that you want to make.
Yep.
You always know that if you have to make more, there is a possibility, there's a way to do it. So
right.
That's awesome, dude. Really is, man. Really is. You guys got anything new you want to tell anybody about, or?
So yeah, I've discussed this before. Like I said, we have a law enforcement belt that's coming out.
Mhm.
Uh, if you had asked me like 2 months ago when it was coming out, I would have said, next month. But it's still not out yet. It's mainly production stuff where we're growing too fast, where it's hard for us to launch a new product
Mhm.
because we'd put an unnecessary pressure on a production that's already pressured. So we're kind of like holding off a little bit until we reorganize with our new reorganization we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks.
Mhm.
So the goal is to have it available, I think, in December.
Okay.
But I've said that before a couple of times.
Now is this belt? Is this a nylon belt too?
Yes. So in fact, I have one here. I guess let me show you. So this is our current 1.75 inch double belt rig. This is sticker on it. This is what is currently available on the market. It's most people using this are, it's military, or most people are just civilians who like a range belt.
Mhm.
We're at the range and load up all their gear. But also, there's a lot of law enforcement, SWAT teams. They're using this. So this is a 1.75 inch outer belt. This one happens to have Molly on it. So the law enforcement version isn't much different than that, except the outer belt is 2 inches. This one doesn't have Molly on it, but we are going to have a version that will have Molly in the law enforcement, because the law enforcement belts are built around like a 2, sometimes 2.25 inch system.
Mhm.
And so we tweaked a few things to tailor it more towards law enforcement. There's actually not really a ton that's different. The adjustment end is routed on the inside of the belt instead of the outside, and there's 2 different buckle choices.
Mhm.
Whereas our 1.75 inch, you can have a metal Cobra buckle or a metal Cobra buckle with a D-ring. The law enforcement version is just going to be a 2 inch metal Cobra buckle, or this is a Polymer GT Cobra buckle. So this is actually a Polymer buckle that's made by Austria Alpen, the same company that makes Cobra buckles, the metal ones, but
Mhm.
these are actually made in the USA instead of Austria.
Okay.
They're a little lighter. They're still really strong. And I know that a lot of law enforcement they have Polymer buckles now, so they're used to that. But these are going to be a lot beefier than some of the thinner side release style buckles that they're currently using. So, and then as with all of our double belt systems, there's an inner belt that comes with it. And there's 2 different versions of inner belt. This is our low profile EDC / inner belt. It's kind of a long name, but the idea behind this belt is it's actually double layer, and it is a functional EDC belt
Mhm.
that's also a inner belt, and it's got a really small polymer buckle up front that tucks in well behind an actual large buckle on an outer belt. So it's a really good combo, and so you can wear this without the outer belt, and then conceal carry, do whatever you want to do. It holds up your pants really well. It's a completely functional belt, but when you want to put the outer belt on, you just put the outer belt on over top of the Velcro, click it, and you're ready to go. So
Nice. Nice. That's,
that's our 2 inch law enforcement belt. It should be, hopefully next month.
have you guys screwed with any patents stuff? Any kind of?
No, not yet. So I mean, we're kind of like in the clothing industry, and I'm not a patent expert, so I might be wrong on this,
Mhm.
but the way I understand it is it's really, really difficult to patent clothing, because it's just a lot of different variations of very similar things.
Mhm.
Buckles you could patent, but we haven't delved yet into manufacturing our own buckles.
Mhm.
Hint. Um, but but as far as the actual design, it's not really something we're interested in. Right, as of right now, we don't really feel like we need to, because we can beat people elsewhere. Like
Yeah.
we compete not just because legally we're the only ones allowed to. We compete
Mhm.
by providing a really, really good product backed up by good customer service. So, and so far so good. Maybe I'll regret that plan someday, but so far that's the way we're doing it.
Well, you got a good source right there in town. All you got to do is ply him with some food, and he'll tell you all about patents. Shane King.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know Shane. Yep.
Just ply him with some food, man. He'll tell you all
Yeah,
about
I don't dare try to. Well, I guess he likes Chick-fil-A. I can provide him with Chick-fil-A.
it.
All his other tastes are too fancy for me to even comprehend.
That dude makes some good looking shit, don't he?
Yeah, I know he does.
Well, dude, let's close this thing up, man. Tell these
Sure.
guys how they can get in touch with you and your social media and your website and stuff.
Yeah, so our website is bluealphagear.com. We actually just launched a new website last week, and so go check it out. We're still working out the bugs. Let us know if you find any. We're on Instagram at Blue Alpha Gear, on Facebook at Blue Alpha Gear. I personally run all those accounts, so if you go to customer service, you're going to be talking to me on, if you send a DM, it'll come to me. I'll answer it. And email is info@bluealphagear.com. I think that's everything.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Brasat? No, I'm kidding.
I'm getting there. Not quite yet.
So look, dude. Like I told you before, you are the first guy that I've done this with. Where tonight was our first introduction, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Oh, I'm super thankful you had me on. This is great. I mean, who doesn't love to talk about themselves for a long time, right?
Nice. Everybody needs to know about you, man. Everybody.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Hopefully, it's interesting.
Oh, definitely. But look, guys, I appreciate everybody coming in here as always. If you guys like what you see, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe on YouTube. Leave us a review. Subscribe on iTunes or any of the other podcast directories, guys. I really appreciate your time, Kurt. Thank you once again, brother. I can't say how much it means to me, man. You coming to SHOT Show?
That is the plan. We'll see if I can show up and make it happen. I still have to actually go follow through on planning it, but the goal is to be there.
Hey, I was late too. I just purchased my stuff last week, but
yeah,
I owe you a beer when we get out there, no doubt.
All right, deal.
So, guys, everybody have a wonderful day. And Kurt, once again, brother, thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you guys.